let's finally talk about some of the stuff that I learned in the second surah of the Quran, Al-Baqarah. So something I noticed straight away, and it's a theme that is heavily repeated in this surah, is the idea that Allah is extremely forgiving and extremely merciful. And we see this really early on with Adam and Eve. So the story is very similar to that one that is portrayed in the Christian Bible. So this is from verse 35, and it says, "We cautioned, O Adam, live with your wife in paradise and eat as freely as you please, but do not approach this tree or else you will be wrongdoers." So similar storylines, don't eat the fruit from this tree. Satan comes along, and what does he do? He deceives them, he tricks them into eating. But Satan deceived them, leading them to their fall from the blissful state they were in. And we said, "Descend from the heavens to the earth as enemies of each other. You will find that on the earth a residence and provisions for your appointed stay." And then we get to the good bit. It says, "Then Adam was inspired with words of prayer by his Lord, so he accepted his repentance. Surely he is the acceptor of repentance, most merciful." Adam and Eve sinned. They sinned, they were sent down from heaven to go live in earth, but they sought forgiveness and Allah forgave them. So there is no concept of original sin. We don't inherit the sin of Adam and Eve. We're born with a clean slate until we can decide for ourselves if this is the path that we want to follow or if we want to choose to follow a different path. Another thing that I really loved and I think really touched me is the idea that Allah is not trying to make your life difficult, okay? So he'll outline something and then he'll say in the very next sentence of the Quran, "But if you can't do that, here is another way that you can please me. And if you can't do that, here is another way that you can please me." O believers, fasting is prescribed for you as it was for those before you, so perhaps you will become mindful of God. Fast a prescribed number of days, but whoever of you is ill or on a journey, then let them fast an equal number of days after Ramadan. For those of you who can only fast with extreme difficulty, compensation can be made by feeding a needy person for every day not fasted. So there are several options there. If you can't fast immediately, fast later. And if you can't fast at all, then you can feed a needy person. He has only forbidden you to eat carrion, blood, swine, and what is slaughtered in the name of any other than God. But if someone is compelled by necessity, neither driven by desire nor exceeding immediate need, they will not be sinful. Surely God is all-forgiving, most merciful. One last one. So this is about completing pilgrimage rituals. It's 196, and it says, "Complete the pilgrimage and minor pilgrimage for God. But if prevented from proceeding, then offer whatever sacrificial animals you can afford, and do not shave your heads until the sacrificial animal reaches its destination. But if any of you is ill or has a scalp ailment requiring shaving, then compensate by either fasting, charity, or a sacrificial offering. Whoever cannot afford that offering, let them fast 3 days during the pilgrimage and then 7 days after returning home." So he just keeps giving you options, right? Like, do this thing to please me. And if you can't do it or you're unable to do it right now, do it later. Or if you can't do it at all, do something else. Like, I'm giving you options. And I think this actually really ties into one of the last verses. I think it's actually the very last one. And it says, it is 286. "Allah does not require of any soul more than what it can afford." I think that's just so beautiful.